Today, our discussion is on another coconut bashing. The present onslaught on coconut oil comes from research studies from the tropical island of Sri Lanka, where coconut palm trees are seen swaying gracefully along the coastlines in the white sandy beaches. The locals and the tourists seen sipping that fruity nutrient water out of the coconut to chill their way on a hot sunny day. And the local staple food being rice and curry, consuming at least using a coconut per family per day. Each coconut is scraped, squeezed by adding warm water to turn into milk and used for thickening and flavoring of curries. Besides, the coconut oil extract of the dried coconut kernel called copra being used for frying and temperizing curries.
Brilliant. Simple to make yet remarkably delicious.
A delicious, appetizing, spicy coconut mixture with chili powder, Maldivian dry fish pieces, chopped onions and added salt, called polsambol by the natives, is almost a daily preparation to go with hoppers, flat bread made with added scraped coconuts called pol roti and with accompanying curries with rice. Sri Lankans love polsambol bread sandwiches with a layer of butter, and that would be mouth-watering. It's a very nutritious mixture. Coconut total serving size 2 into 2 into 0.5 piece, total fat 15.1 grams, cholesterol nil, total carbs 6.9 grams, dietary fat 4.1 grams, protein 1.5 grams, calcium 6.3 milligrams, total potassium 160 milligrams, calories 159. The Maldivian fish gives the omega-3 component, chili powder and lime give vitamin C requirement, and further its fiber content is high with low carbs suitable for diabetics to enjoy idly. In every Asian home, coconut oil having a high smoking point is used for frying, baking and so on. Will people in Thailand consume any soup or curry without coconut milk in them? The answer is that Thai food is so tasty because they use plenty of coconuts in their cuisine. Let us take the Pacific Basin and the thousands of people in those islands where coconut trees thrive. Do those strong, big-made people die of heart disease? Coconut oil has been consumed by populations in the Pacific Islands for thousands of years without ill effects. Think about it. A lot of coconut scrapings are used to make sweetmeat, such as kauns, kokis, atira, and many others prepared for traditional events resembling the Thanksgiving in the United States. Most of these delicacies are fried in hot coconut oil. We all have The present study finding is that coconut oil is a risk factor for cardiovascular disease like heart attacks and stroke in South Asia, including Sri Lanka. A research paper published recently by a team led by Professor Ranil Jawardar, Professor of Nutrition, Faculty of Medicine, University Colombo, assisted by a team Hasinthi Swarnamali and Dr. Priyanka Ranasinghe. We all have sorrow. The first beating occurred during the late 50s when Ansel Key from Pennsylvania concocted data on the death from coronary heart disease and fat consumption from 22 countries, but he selected 7 countries which supported his theory that animal fat was the main cause of coronary heart disease. The truth about Ansel Keys was that we have got it wrong. Ansel Keys did an awful thing. He published a study about different countries that made it look like heart disease was associated with fat intake. But the truth was that he started out with 22 countries and just tossed out the ones that did not fit his hypothesis. When other researchers analyzed his data using all the original countries, the link between fat and heart disease totally vanished. Keys was a fraud. Popularity of coconut oil and the meat or the kernel for some reason has researched during the past few years, and its health and other benefits to mankind have been exemplified. In fact, Bruce Fife, naturopathic doctor living in Philippines, the pioneer producer of virgin coconut oil, states recently scientists have discovered a powerful new weapon against heart disease. As surprising as it may seem, this new weapon is coconut oil. Yes, ordinary coconut oil. Eating coconut oil on a regular basis can reduce your chances of suffering a heart attack.
Financial advisory from the American Heart Association regarding dietary fats and cardiovascular disease. In this report last month, they stated unequivocally they do not recommend coconut oil. Well, this was just the latest in a multiple decades long battle around coconut oil. I've had my own battles personally about coconut oil. I loved coconut when I was a kid. My mom and my grandmother, who I grew up with, both knew that my favorite birthday dessert was coconut pie, coconut cake. Yes, we had too much of a culture around desserts. And that's it.
It is known that many on low fat and low cholesterol diets have had heart attacks. And in fact, 60% of cases who have had heart disease have low cholesterol levels in their blood. Multiple studies in the recent past have shown that saturated fats are not linked to heart disease. It was the American Heart Association that gave the bad advice for years that saturated fats cause heart disease and recommended to go on a low-fat diet and to eat as much carbs as possible. According to Professor Ranil Jawardena, coconut oil consumption significantly increases cholesterol LDL, that's a bad cholesterol, and HDL, the good cholesterol. That is true, but is the LDL cholesterol in coconut oil a risk factor for cardiovascular episodes when it is used so little daily? Eating fatty foods with high carbs seems to be the real culprit for heart disease and other non-communicable diseases. It is observed that the Sri Lankan women, including the domestics, use little coconut oil in their daily cooking. For temporizing and for frying, they restrict the oil usage to 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil. This has been shown to benefit weight, reduce belly fat, and improve other health markers. Eating 2 tablespoons, that's 30 mils of coconut oil per day, is a reasonable amount that leaves room for other healthy fats in your diet like olive oil, and there seems to be no risks for cardiovascular episodes, and there are more health benefits. Coconut oil is popular in several trending diets, including ketogenic and paleo diets. Coconut oil, though mainly a saturated fat, contains no cholesterol and only traces of vitamins, minerals, and plant sterols. In another onslaught, coconut oil is labeled as pure poison by a Harvard professor, Karin Michael. She says, I can only warn you urgently about coconut oil. This is one of the worst foods you can eat. Epidemiological studies find that groups of people who include coconut as part of their native diets, example India, Philippines, Polynesia, Thailand and other Pacific Basin islands, have low rates of cardiovascular diseases compared to the people in the Western world who do not include coconut in their diets, have much higher risk of cardiovascular disease. Sometimes in our life. The bottom line is that Sri Lankans and other Asians, including Polynesians and people in other countries along the tropical belt, do use small amounts of coconut oil in the cooking processes, and though it has high levels of LDL or bad cholesterol, more than even butter, should not be considered a risk factor for heart disease. It is true coconut oil, being a saturated fat, will raise the bad cholesterol in your blood, but the test of time for centuries have shown us that the risk of cardiovascular disease is no higher than those do not use coconut in their diets. The only tree that was not destroyed or uprooted during tsunami in 2004 in Sri Lanka was a coconut tree, and that provided the inhabitants with shelter and main ingredients in their cuisines, a blessing. Those swaying palm trees are giving us a positive message. So do not feel guilty. Eat coconut in any form in your daily diet. As test of time has proved, it is no risk factor for heart disease. Hope this video talk was useful. Take care and goodbye for now.